Now that we've modified the proposal for Scott, I want to show you how we're going to go in and print this proposal, show you how to land the proposal, and then how to export a landed proposal to QuickBooks. So in the global search bar, let's pull Scott's. I'm going to go to the customer again. Let's pull Scott's proposal back up. So again, if I go to the customer, I go to the related section so that I can see the project number. There's my project number. I click on the project. And once again, I hit related, and that's going to bring me down to the individual options. So let's take a look at this Winner's Choice 3 that we just modified. Now, I want to print a copy of this proposal and send it to the customer. So at the top, I have a button that says Print Proposal. And this Print Proposal box is going to give me a lot of options. So by default, this is going to show me a view that this is what I would normally send to a customer. So let's just preview that so that we can see what it looks like. So you'll notice in this proposal that there's no financial information at each individual line item level. It just gives a list of the things that we're going to do with a total at the bottom. So this is pretty normal for what a proposal would look like going to a customer. The second page you'll see is the terms and sort of the terms and conditions. The buyer's right to cancel, that's a page that automatically goes. And yes, you can modify this. Just send a support ticket to IT with the text that you want for that last page. But let's say that I want to look at something with a little more detail. So instead of simply taking the default preview, I can add a lot of different things here. So I'm going to add everything just so that you can see what's here. I clearly would not send this to a customer. I also want to show you a couple of different sections that we can add. So if I add a signature section, if I add a customer satisfaction section, I'll show you what those look like. So now when I look at this proposal, you'll see there's a lot more information here. I still have a description of all the individual items that are going to happen. I have the quantity, the unit cost, the unit price, what the extended cost would be, what the margin is by line, and what the total price is to the customer. Each section I've added a total. There's a grand total, and you'll notice I also added the signature box and the completion box where it says the work described above has been completed to my satisfaction, which you would have the customer sign once the job is complete. So the reason I showed you this is I wanted you to see every possible field that you could pull in. So clearly, if you wanted to give something to your installer to show them the quantities, you might print it with only the quantity column. If you're printing it for your own personal use, you might print it with everything that's on it, particularly if you're trying to do a job costing on this job. If you are sending it to the customer and the customer wants a little bit more detail than what, than just a blank section, maybe you print it with the quantity and the total price per line. So you have the flexibility of picking which columns you want to print. So maybe you want to print this, or instead maybe you want to download it and send it in an email. So you can simply click the download button here and download this to a PDF and send it that way. Another way that you can email the customer is, instead of doing a print preview here, if you click on the email section, now you have the ability to send the customer the email right away. So this is the contacts email that's associated with this customer. In this case, this is correct. But if I wanted to, I could simply overwrite this with put other here and then key in a different email address. So that's how I would print it. So let's say that I've now gone back to the customer. Maybe I took a printed copy instead of the tablet, and now the customer has agreed to this proposal. So I got a signature while I was there. I picked up a deposit check. This is fantastic. If the customer signs the tablet, and I have two signatures on the tablet, my signature, the customer's signature, then the system is automatically going to mark that as a landed job. But in this case, I went back with a piece of paper and I had the customer sign a piece of paper, and now I need to manually change the status of the job. So in order to mark this as a landed job, I'm going to simply come over here and say mark the option status as complete. What does that mean? That right now it's in the estimated status. So when I mark it as complete, it's going to move it from estimated to landed. So when I click the button, it now moves it to landed, and I get the celebratory confetti. Now just a note about these chevrons at the top. So notice these chevrons, where are we? We're at the option level. So at the option level, these are the chevrons that actually matter from a reporting standpoint. I have now marked this as landed, and if this was a regular customer, not a training customer, I would now see it in all of my reporting as a landed job. On the other hand, if I look at the project level, if I just go back up one level, these chevrons at the top are really for your internal use, and they do not affect reporting whatsoever. So I can mark this that we've ordered the product. That can be my current production path. I can mark that we've installed it, or that the install has been scheduled. I can mark that as my current production path. I can do these things, and they do not affect they don't affect reporting whatsoever. So why would you use these? Well, if your office manager is responsible for moving the job through these statuses, this is a way for you to be able to check and see where a job is. On the other hand, at the option level is financially what pushes things from landed to scheduled, scheduled to produced, and produced to paid. This is what's going to show up in your funnel reporting, not what's at the project level. So while we're here, I've landed the job, I collected a deposit check, and now I need to be able to put this deposit check into QuickBooks. So I want to be able to export my IIF file into QuickBooks. So here at the top, at the option level, there's a button for Export to QuickBooks. When I click that button, do I want to export it to QuickBooks? Yes, I do. And now you'll notice that it downloaded the IIF file, which I can then go into QuickBooks and import.